Welcome back, party people. Thank you for joining us at the Block Party. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. You could probably hold off the comments until the very end because I love to get your guys' opinions and comments, especially when we do the reviews. Today, we're doing The Last of Us, episode 4, coming at us real nice and hot. Last episode, we dropped off with Ellie and Joel going in Bill's vehicle across to find Tommy. This has us a little bit of back-to-back. We're introduced to a couple of different areas. We have found that Ellie has a joke book and is cracking herself up and is slowly whittling away, I would say, at Joel's hard demeanor. But I anticipate a lot more to come out of that. We then move on to them getting into St. Louis. Once they get into St. Louis, the highway that they were supposed to go on is pretty much blocked. So they decide to go around, they go into St. Louis, and they get lost, very lost. After a little bit of, turning which ways and so on and so forth, they finally get down one road and they stop because there's a guy in the middle of the street that needs help because he looks like he's injured. Joel has seen this before, has possibly even done this before, puts on a seatbelt, starts just driving as fast as he can towards this guy. Guy hops out of the way. Another dude up on a rooftop drops a giant cinder block on top of their glass. Then there's people that start taking shots at him. They crash into a laundromat. Joel gets out. He goes full protector mode. There's a little hole in the wall that gets to the other side of the laundromat. He tells Ellie, go in there. Don't come out until I say it's okay. And Joel goes to town on these two guys. Hits one. Easy shots, then backs up. Even when we were watching it, my girlfriend and I, we watched it together, and Allison had said she was confused because Joel had shot one of them, and then right after he shot him, he went farther back in the laundromat. She was like, why'd he do that? The main thing that when you're watching this type of show is you have to understand the reason why the characters are doing certain things. It's because of resource conservation. Joel didn't want to keep shooting a bunch of random bullets when he was far away. He wanted that guy to get in close, and he wanted to take a shot at a shorter distance so that he could conserve more of his ammunition. And that's what he did. Guy got into the laundromat, and Joel put a bullet straight through him. So after that, Ellie is realizing everything's okay. There's another one that comes in from behind Joel, gets him pinned down, puts a gun over top of him and starts choking him out with a shotgun. Again, resource conservation. He could have shot him, but he was close enough to where he thought that he could overpower him. And he successfully was doing it. Ellie understands that there's a struggle. She comes through the door wall, or through the hole in the wall, with the pistol that she got from Bill, gets it all aimed up, and shoots this person. This is going to be heavy spoilers, so if you haven't watched it, go watch it because it's definitely going to be more impactful from the show. This episode, the writer of The Last of Us, he talked about it at the very end of the episode. He said they wanted to humanize the villains. When Ellie shoots this kid, number one, he's probably somewhere around my age, 23, 25, anywhere around that area. When she shoots him, he falls. His name is Brian, and he says it. And this kid is he's acting normal. He's like, hey, he's like, it's okay. He's like, I can't move. He's like, it's all right. You don't need to do anything. It's like, well, I have a settlement. We can trade with you guys. There's no problem. We'll get past this. If you can get me to my family, they'll be okay. They'll understand. We attacked you guys. This was they will understand. This was an act of violence, but it was rightful because we acted first. The guy just started going in and in as much as he could. Joel gets up, grabs the gun from Ellie, and pulls out a knife. And he tells Ellie, go back into the wall. And Joel stabs him to kill him. This shows how rough Joel really is. He's not an easy character. He's not a soft person. After Ellie had shot this kid, she got up, she went into the wall and wiped a couple of tears away, and then she was fine. Joel, after he had the whole area situated, he goes over and he's like, hey, let me know how to get in. She opens up the door for him, and like she's like, hey, I got this resource, I got this resource, I got this resource, I have all this in here, here's my flashlight, you can go ahead, take this, and then we'll go out. Both of them were forgetting about it as quickly as possible. However, later on in the episode, we're starting to see way more character development on this team dynamic of them two being partners almost in this. We start to see Joel is really trying to connect with her because he hates the fact that she's so young and that she's already done this type of pain to someone. And he talks about this. She jokes like, you're not really good at this. And he's not. He's never had he hasn't had a daughter in 23 years. So this is a very tough thing for him. It does drop how old he is. He's 56. Dude's up there in years. He's getting tired of dealing with this. He's been dealing with the apocalypse for 23 years. So 56 with 23 of it being the apocalypse years, I don't even know. That must correlate to like dog years or something. Like 1 year in apocalypse year is equivalent to like 7 years in regular time. We are introduced to a new faction of people. It's definitely shown that they are very patriotic. It's shown that they took over a Fedra base and they defeated a QZ, which is crazy. If they defeated a QZ, they have some power behind them, and they were very well organized. Their leadership she's pretty dark. It's introduced that she's talking to a doctor to start. He doesn't say the right thing, so she goes in there and she shoots him in the head, and then that is that. She is a force to be reckoned with, and it looks like next episode we're definitely going to get a lot more about them. When this was introduced in the game, obviously we didn't have any personification of this group. It was just an obstacle in the game, and that's what the director was even talking about. Humanizing villains is so tough, and these people they were people. They just seemed like people. And it was messed up because what that kid was talking about was probably true. Like, there's part of it that you don't know. You can't, although you root for Ellie and Joel, it's hard to root against other factions. When I'm watching it, I'm not watching it as these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. It's Joel and Ellie are the protagonists, and everything else is just the world around them. It's really tough, but that's one of the good things about this story, is it's so well developed because it is realistic. That's what it is. It's very realistic to how people would act in this type of situation, and it hones on that idea that humans want to dominate. Humans want to be in control of everything. So if they're able to, they will. It's very deep for a show, but it's HBO, so that does make sense. We see a little bit of back and forth. There's definitely the two leaders that are kind of for the faction. I know one of them is Perry. I can't remember the woman's name, but Perry, ex-military. They talk about that in the after credits. He's ex-military, and it looks like they hint at a bloater. I wasn't sure if they would do this type of monster in it, like this type of infected, but it definitely seems like they're doing a bloater. In the game, there's bloaters, clickers, and stalkers. Stalkers we haven't seen yet, and I don't want to see stalkers yet. Stalkers are just terrible. We'll wait until the show gets there, but bloaters are insane. In this part in the game, there were bloaters, so that's why I was like, oh, I wasn't sure if they did, but they kind of hinted at it, and it was also pretty much shown in the Next Up, which I have been watching the Next Ups for them. Other than that, this episode mostly had to do with character development on Joel and Ellie's side. The action was there was some action back and forth, and developing the humanization of this faction, showing people that they are people, that they're just, people that were patriotic, that defeated the QZ. It's a tough situation, and they talked about, the writer and the producer both talked about history. There were times where the revolutionary force was almost just as bad as the force that was occupying it prior. That's kind of what we're seeing, is this isn't a fantastic group. I at first wasn't even sure if it wasn't Fedra because of how they were acting, but it definitely wasn't Fedra because they talk about defeating Fedra. And at the very end, Ellie and Joel go to sleep. They have a really funny laugh. Ellie says, while they're on the sofa cushions about to sleep, Ellie turns and she says, "Hey Joel, did you know that diarrhea was hereditary?" And Joel kind of turns around. He's like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." She said, "It runs in your genes." And they laugh. And it's the first time that we've seen a wholesome moment from Joel and Ellie. It's refreshing for how dark some of the rest of the episode was. And it does give you that sense of, okay, this is okay, like everything is gonna be fine. Then Ellie gets woke up because she's got a gun in her face and there's a gun in Joel's face. And that's where they ended. This was the shortest episode and I am mad. Okay, you cannot give us an hour and a half in the first episode. Then it's like, then we had like 55 minutes. Then we had like an hour and 20 minutes. And now we have 45 minutes? Come on, man. Like, we got to get some consistency here, okay? Like, throw me around. But all in all, I'm going to give this like a 9.2. A 9.2. There was a lot more character development, as I had already said. I appreciated everything going on with it. Still, the visuals were fantastic. Sound was fantastic. Everything about it was good. I thought that the actors are really getting into the characters that they're portraying. And I think the next couple of episodes we're going to see it even more. This is slowly rounding up to be one of the best shows that I've seen in a long time, that I genuinely appreciated watching and that I want to sit down and watch without any distraction from my phone or any distraction from anything else. It's very refreshing. Other than that, if you appreciated my opinions and thoughts and comments about this episode, leave yours down in the comment section below. As always, like and subscribe. We're going to be doing these the same time every week. However, I will say, this next weekend, this will be releasing on Saturday. Kind of a weird timing, I know, and that's because it's going to be coming out on Friday. Super Bowl Sunday is going to be on Sunday, and they obviously don't want to drop it at the same time. So this will be airing at 9 o'clock on Friday night. You can catch everything else from us Saturday right after. And hey, if you're there watching the Legends of Vox Machina review that's going to come out on Friday, which is the finale, shout out to that, because that's going to be the last 3 remaining episodes. I'm going to kind of give my little synopsis of what I felt about the entire season as a whole. After you're done with that, just like, you know, keep the tab up. Okay, just keep the tab up, and then at some point you'll see a new thing pop up and be like, hey, The Last of Us, check it out, it's gonna be good, hopefully. Unless the episode is really filler, then it might be a little boring, but at that point you're already on the page, might as well check it out, might as well leave a like, you know, help us. I would cue the In the Arms of the Angel song, but you know it, just help us. Other than that, we hope you have a fantastic night. Have a great day.